How Ibrahim Traore exposed ECOWAS. Hi viewers, in today's video we are going to look into how Ibrahim Traore exposed ECOWAS. What is actually the scenario? The Economic Community of West African States, established in 1975 with 15 member states, aimed to promote economic unification and development in the region, but this goal has not been achieved. Recently, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso decided to withdraw from ECOWAS due to perceived leadership failures within the organization. The withdrawal of these member states was influenced by the belief that ECOWAS did not handle the recent coups in these countries impartially, leading to dissatisfaction and ultimately their decision to leave the regional bloc. The recent withdrawal of 3 countries from ECOWAS marks a significant setback for the bloc, which has never experienced such an event in its 49-year history. ECOWAS has established itself as an influential entity that addresses issues affecting the peace and security of its member states, including economic concerns. The departure of these countries could potentially set a precedent for other members to follow suit, creating a domino effect within the bloc. The countries in question have been in conflict with ECOWAS following military coups in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, prompting the bloc to urge a return to civilian governance. In response to the defiance of these countries, ECOWAS has imposed sanctions and suspensions, and there have been discussions of potential military intervention. The 3 nations have also distanced themselves from former colonial powers like France, forming alliances with other countries such as Russia, and establishing a mutual defense pact known as the Alliance of Sahel States in an effort to resist neo-colonial influences. The regional bloc introduced the concept of implementing a unified currency for West Africa to enhance trade and economic growth across borders. The proposed currency, named ECO, has not seen significant progress in the past 3 decades towards establishing a common currency and fostering unity in the region. The withdrawal of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger Republic from the ECOWAS community was justified by the military regimes led by Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, and Abdourahmane Tiani. They claimed that ECOWAS had deviated from its original purpose and the essence of the Pan-African movement, as it was collaborating with foreign powers and undermining the values of the bloc. The Sahel nations also criticized ECOWAS for not providing sufficient support in combating the jihadist pandemic. The military leaders emphasized the need to restore security before holding elections, as they face challenges with jihadist insurgencies. Niger's military leaders specifically requested a transition period of up to 3 years before returning to civilian rule. While Mali initially planned to hold elections in February, the date has been postponed indefinitely. Burkina Faso, on the other hand, has scheduled elections for the summer, prioritizing the fight against insurgents. The trade volume is supported by the contributions of member states. However, with Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger no longer part of ECOWAS, the organization's income is expected to decrease significantly. In 2022, ECOWAS generated $277.22 billion, with Burkina Faso contributing $4.55 billion to exports and $5.63 billion to imports, Mali $3.91 billion and $6.45 billion, and Niger $446.14 million and $3.79 billion. The ECOWAS treaty stipulates that member states wishing to withdraw from the group must provide a written notice 1 year in advance and adhere to its provisions during that period. Regarding the issue of withdrawal, ECOWAS has stated that it has not yet received any formal notification from the countries regarding their departure from the economic community. Amadou Ode, a retired Nigerian ambassador to Mexico, expressed his views on the recent withdrawal of 3 member states from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. He mentioned that while ECOWAS believed that these countries had violated certain rules and regulations, the actions taken by the organization seemed to have a counterproductive effect. Instead of fostering integration among member states, the withdrawal of these countries seemed to further disintegrate the region. The retired ambassador highlighted the impact of the sanctions imposed by ECOWAS on the 3 countries that eventually led to their decision to withdraw from the organization. He emphasized that the use of threats and forceful measures by ECOWAS had pushed these countries to unite and form a trilateral alliance to exit ECOWAS. Amadou Ode expressed concern over the implications of these withdrawals on the stability and existence of ECOWAS as a regional bloc. Amadou Ode recommended that ECOWAS leadership should opt for negotiation rather than resorting to coercive tactics. He believed that a diplomatic approach would be more effective in resolving conflicts and ensuring the interests of both individual countries and the West African region as a whole. By advocating for a more diplomatic and statesmanlike approach, Amadou Ode aimed to promote peaceful resolutions and maintain the unity of ECOWAS amidst challenging circumstances. A closer look. ECOWAS has been criticized for its focus on political troubles and economic challenges, particularly in the Sahel region. The move to establish a common currency failed due to a betrayal from Côte d'Ivoire, which was allegedly sponsored by France. Former Nigerian ambassador to the Philippines, Yemi Farunbi, argued that every nation wants to belong to an organization that contributes to its development. Farunbi argued that ECOWAS has the potential to benefit all member states, including politics, energy, industrialization, and political relationships. Farunbi also highlighted the abandonment of policies by the association, which could have made it difficult for the three nations to leave. He argued that if ECOWAS had tackled the root cause of this departure, such issues would not occur again. Farunbi suggested that ECOWAS must show its commitment to developing the nations under its jurisdiction and make it more relevant to the people. He suggested that ECOWAS should be smart enough to say they do not like a military regime that is anti-democratic. Dr. Wasiu Abiodun, an expert in history and international relations, stated that the withdrawal of three countries from ECOWAS shows that the region is troubled, especially at the sub-regional level. He noted that the juntas were against the continuous Western influence in the African political landscape and the continued Western influence infiltration. Abiodun argued that the withdrawal and military regime in these coup-captured countries were a resistance against the unending exploitation of their people. Abiodun referred to the withdrawal and military regime in these coup-captured countries as a way of saying, enough of the madness, and that resources must be exploited positively so that it reflects on the lives of the people. He argued that Francophone countries' leaders can see the direction they are headed and try to do away with the international level order that is skewed against them. However, the objective is clear. Resources must be exploited positively so that it reflects on the lives of the people. Abiodun also pointed out that the chronic of Western power conniving with this current power to exploit the resources of the people to starch them in cities like Paris for the betterment of their families. He also mentioned the chronicles in European capital cities. African leaders must return to their own countries and take responsibility for their actions, as the challenges faced by countries like Burkina Faso and Niger are as profound as those in Nigeria. The moral ground for condemning these countries is lacking, and leaders must first go back to their own countries to implement the message passed to them. Nigeria should also take practical steps to address corruption and resource mismanagement issues. Dr. Dapo Thomas, a historian and expert in history and international relations, believes that integration cannot be achieved through disintegration. He expressed sadness that some Africans believe that integration must come from the process of disintegration, highlighting the political understanding of juntas. Dr. Thomas commended the agitation of coup leaders for faulting ECOWAS, but he argued that achieving regional integration through coups is not possible if they have plotted coups to gain power. In conclusion, the withdrawal of three countries from ECOWAS demonstrates the region's troubled leadership and the need for a more inclusive and effective organization. The ECOWAS chairman, however, does not have the moral ground to condemn what is happening in these countries. The goal is to ensure that resources are exploited positively and that the lives of the people are reflected in the organization. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe our channel and leave a comment in the comment section below.